Hey everyone, so I saw last night the film The Gift, which stars Jason Bateman, Rebecca Hall, and Joel Edgerton, who also directed and wrote this film. To start things off, this is not a horror film. The trailers make it seem like it is. It is not a horror film. It is a mystery thriller. I'm saying that right now. It is not, so that you guys go into this knowing that. Alright, end of rant. Now, the premise of this film is a guy by the name of Simon and his wife, who's played by Rebecca Hall, they move into this new house. Now, Simon is basically coming home. When he comes home, he and his wife are kind of like getting settled down, and they're going shopping and whatnot. And along the way, they meet this guy named Gordo. Gordo claims to have known Simon in high school, and they start hanging out and whatnot. But Simon, he kind of has a bad feeling about this guy, and that's kind of where the film leads you as an audience member into thinking about the consequences of deception, do two wrongs make a right, stuff like that. And I really liked that aspect of this film. This is a very well done film. Before I even get to the conclusion, I'm gonna say it's a very well done film. Now, the positive of this film is that it's very thought-provoking. The storyline, it's basically a modern-day Fatal Attraction, but it works extremely well. The plot points, there are a couple that, yes, they are kind of predictable, but by the end, it's worth it because you are entertained, you are immersed into this family's life, and these characters, let me tell you, you guys all know how I really care about characters and if they're developed or not, and these characters are extremely fleshed out. For starters, let me just say this. So far in this review, I have mentioned Simon and Gordo. In my other reviews, I have not mentioned the characters' names, besides my last one, and that's because Ethan Hunt is iconic. I'm mentioning these two characters' names because they are that well fleshed out that I remember them a day later. That tells you something. Just saying. Now, I also liked the editing style of this film. It was very 90s-ish. It had that type of feel to it. And you don't really see that too often, so it's worth noting. I also like the cinematography. Now, in the beginning, I was kind of like, he's trying a little too hard, Joel Edgerton, to make this a David Fincher-like film. But by the end, I was like, it's suitable. It fits, because I'll be honest, if David Fincher could have directed this film, he would have, because this is his type of style. It's very good. Very restrained on violence. And David Fincher's films, albeit some of them are quite violent, they're restrained on them. There's only a couple scenes, and that's the same with this movie. There's not that much. And that's why I am strongly saying, as before, it's not a horror film. This is a smart thriller, guys. A smart thriller with very few negatives. In fact, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is that the pacing. It's kind of slow in the beginning, and it kind of relies on you as an audience member kind of taking a step back and saying, okay, they're kind of fleshing everything out. It's going to be worth it at the end. And I'm telling you, it is, because there are a couple twists, and I know I just kind of like sighed. It's not because I didn't think the twists were well done. They are. I love the twist. It's because this is a non-spoiler review, and I can't really go into depth about the twists because I don't want to spoil it for you, especially since the trailers, they're misleading, yes, but they also don't really exploit anything. They don't show you as audience members the twists, which some movies recently have been doing, so I respect that immensely. I just want to say, I mentioned earlier, but I loved how this movie was so ambitious. Sure, the messages have kind of been done before with Fatal Attraction. Sure, you kind of see the one coming, but at the end of the day, I really liked this movie, guys. I really liked it, and especially coming out of high school 2 years ago, this movie was extremely relevant for me, and it made me think, like, can you really be nice to somebody? Like, is it worth it? It's something that doesn't really come across every day, but I consider myself a nice guy, and this movie kind of really made me think about that on, is it worth being nice? So, and for the record, this is off the record, I think it is worth being nice. Anyways, that's my review, guys. I think that it is a 4.5 out of 5-star movie. If there's like a letter grade, an A-. This is worth seeing. This is the second best film I've seen all year. In theaters, of course. So see it. as soon as possible. As far as future reviews go, guys, I will be reviewing Braveheart. I'm going to start this thing called Netflix Reviews, where there are movies on Netflix that I'm going to be reviewing just to see if you guys should watch them, and hopefully you guys check them out. I will also be reviewing The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your night.